The Value of Time, Seneca's Teachings on Transience. It is not that we have too little time, but that we waste much of it. With this powerful quote, Seneca challenges us to reflect on our relationship with time. How often do we say to ourselves, "I don't have time," or "If I had more time, I would"? But is the problem really the amount of time we have, or rather how we choose to use it? Seneca posed this question over 2,000 years ago in his work De Brevitate Vitae, on the shortness of life, and his answer remains strikingly relevant today. Seneca regarded time as our most precious resource, one that cannot be accumulated or reclaimed. For him, the issue was not the length of life, but how we choose to spend the time we have. Life is long enough, and it has been given in sufficient measure to accomplish the greatest tasks, if it is well invested. Seneca criticized how many people squander their time, chasing fleeting pleasures, becoming entangled in trivialities, or allowing external forces to dictate their lives. At the same time, he admired those who use their time deliberately and purposefully. Seneca has not only inspired us to reflect on time, but also provided valuable guidance on how to use it more consciously. A central aspect of his teachings is the importance of setting priorities. He urges us to ask ourselves what truly matters. Are we spending our time on activities that bring us joy or help us grow? Or are we getting lost in tasks that hold little meaning for us? One way to address this is by consciously planning your day. Write down the 3 most important things you want to achieve and dedicate your energy to these goals. Another thought from Seneca is the importance of taking time for yourself. Far too often we sacrifice our valuable time to meet the expectations of others, forgetting ourselves in the process. He puts it succinctly, "No one can return the time you've lost. If you do not take control of yourself, you are lost." This is why it is crucial to consciously set aside time for your own interests. Whether it's reading a book, exercising, or simply reflecting in peace, these moments are yours alone. Seneca also urges us not to waste our time, but to live consciously in the here and now. Many people dwell on the past or worry about the future, while the present slips away unused. A modern example of this is endless scrolling through social media. Instead, we could actively shape the present. Simple practices like short breathing exercises or mindfully enjoying a cup of coffee or a walk can help us stay in the moment and appreciate it. And if you feel the need to browse the internet, why not watch a science channel? That way, you can even learn something. Another important piece of advice from Seneca is to learn to say no. Our time is too valuable to spend on things that give us nothing in return. He essentially said, "Whoever gives away their time gives away their life." This means we should learn to decline invitations or tasks that distract us from our own goals. It's not about being rude, but about standing firm for yourself and prioritizing what truly matters. To conclude, we can ask ourselves, what does time mean to me? Am I using it the way I want, or do I often feel like it slips away from me? What activities fill my day? Which of them energize me and which drain me? Seneca reminds us that time is our most valuable asset, the one thing that passes irrevocably. The true art lies in living it consciously, rather than letting it simply slip by. Seneca also offers wisdom for those moments when we must dedicate our time to tasks that feel challenging or whose purpose is not immediately apparent. Often we perceive such duties, whether in our professional lives, studies, or daily responsibilities, as tedious obligations. Yet in these situations, Seneca encourages us to shift our perspective. Instead of asking why we have to do something, we can ask what value or lesson we might gain from it. He advises us to focus not on the discomfort or distractions, but on the opportunity to grow through the challenge. Even the seemingly most trivial tasks, when approached with dedication, can strengthen our discipline or provide new insights. Another key element of Seneca's teachings is acceptance. He emphasizes that while we cannot resist many of the things imposed upon us, this does not mean we are powerless. The power lies in our attitude. For instance, if we find ourselves in a long meeting or slogging through a monotonous task, we can use the time wisely by practicing focus or developing strategies to handle such situations more efficiently in the future. Distractions, according to Seneca, should be met with clarity. They are often the enemy of our focus, stealing valuable time. However, instead of criticizing ourselves for drifting off, we should reflect on why we are distracted. Is it because the task lacks meaning for us? Or are we in need of a break? Seneca would argue that the solution to distractions lies not in self-reproach, but in mindfulness. By pausing and questioning our motivation, we can either find a renewed approach to the task or deliberately take a short, intentional break, allowing us to return with greater clarity. Seneca shows us that even the time we initially perceive as wasted can become an opportunity for reflection and growth. The key lies in seeking meaning in every moment, and sometimes in creating that meaning ourselves. Seneca warns us explicitly about the dangers of distraction. He describes how easily we waste our time on pursuits that bring neither joy nor fulfillment. These distractions might manifest as endless hours scrolling through social media, engaging in fruitless debates, or chasing after things we don't truly need. How often have you planned to spend your day meaningfully, only to find yourself at the end wondering where all the time went? Imagine this scenario. After work, you find yourself scrolling through social media, only to realize 2 hours have slipped away. What could you have accomplished in that time? Seneca would interject here, reminding us, life is long enough if you use it wisely. He urges us to consciously ask ourselves, does this activity truly add value to my life? Does it bring me joy or meaning? Feel free to share in the comments which activities are time wasters in your life, and how you might work on reducing them. Your insights could inspire others to make positive changes as well. The illusion of enough time is another trap Seneca warns us about. How often do we postpone things, believing there will always be time tomorrow? The truth is, tomorrow is never guaranteed. The time we waste today is time we can never reclaim. For example, you might dream of learning a new language, writing a book, or reconnecting with an old friend. Yet you keep telling yourself, I'll do it later. But what if later never comes? Seneca reminds us that life is short, and the time we have should not be squandered. Is there something you've been putting off for a long time? Something important to you, but it keeps getting buried under the demands of daily life? Share it in the comments and let's brainstorm together on how to finally tackle it. Seneca's teachings are meant to inspire and remind you not to take your time for granted, but to see it as the most precious thing you own. Use it wisely. Seneca taught us that time is our most valuable asset, something we cannot increase or reclaim. Each of us has the power to handle this resource mindfully. It's in your hands, whether you waste your time or use it for things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and meaning. Remember, it's often not the big decisions that shape our lives, but the small, everyday moments. How you start your morning, where you direct your focus throughout the day, and how you wind down in the evening. All these things define the quality of your life. Seneca urges us to live in the present moment, act intentionally, and avoid procrastination. If there's one takeaway from this audiobook, it's this: the time you have is enough, if you use it wisely. To conclude, here's a small exercise. Think of one thing you can do today to make meaningful use of your time. Share it in the comments. Your contribution might inspire others as well. I hope this audiobook has given you new insights into managing your time more consciously. If you enjoyed the topic, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future audiobooks. Your subscription also supports the channel, enabling the release of even more inspiring audiobooks. Soon, we'll dive deeper into Stoic teachings that can help you lead a more fulfilling and mindful life. Until next time, use your time wisely and stay mindful.